Oh, peace. What's good, Bina? Let me turn this on just in case they let me bring people on to my live. I'm using my iPad this time, so we will see if they let me bring people on. I'm gonna let this build up for a second before we get started. Once it hit maybe 50 people, then we'll get to it. And also, what's good, y'all? If you are not on my friends list, when you follow me or send a follow request, please set it as C first. So set it as C first. That way you can get a lot more of the information very quickly and not miss out on anything that happens. But we got to have a conversation. What's good, Annie, Royal, Bina? Let me go on my phone here so I can keep up with everybody that's on the live. What up, Jazz? What's good, Jazzy? Erica. I want to touch on a couple things because we in a new year. It's been almost 14. It's been 14 days, so 2 weeks into this new year. And a lot has happened. And I want to start off by talking about some solutions. Thank you, Dusty. So again, I don't usually have friends on my let me see that video where the feds went to a Black Panther house about the DC riot. Hell no, I ain't seen no shit like that. Forward it to me or tag me in it if you can. I got a number of concerns. We've now had decisions in the Jacob Blake case. We've had decisions in the what's his name? Joseph Mensah case. And so a lot of that stuff, there's continuing action and conversation and different avenues that could be taken, but for the most part, we've gotten past the initial points of those things. Whoa. Okay. So I want to talk about some Milwaukee issues that affects not just Milwaukee, but just a couple of these things that's going on. One, I just did a post. Let me start with this. I just did a post earlier that talks about stolen. I said stolen cars, joyride, and reckless driving are huge issues we have to address. I have a plan. I just need the city leadership on board. I'm gonna tell y'all right now that what I'm about to say is not new. It's not new coming from me. I suggested a lot of this same stuff in 2016 when we started Program the Parks. One part of the conversation on that post is talking about space. That's still the number one need that we have here. We've talked about closing Lincoln Hills. We've talked about decarceration and having a different focus other than school to prison pipeline, park to prison pipeline, block to prison pipeline, all these different pipelines that are really just traps that a lot of people end up falling in. And again, for those of y'all who have not followed me for long or don't know my story, I was a homeless teenager. I stole cars. I joyrode. I participated in robberies, but it was because, but this is the thing about Lincoln Hills closing. Even if it closes, there is not, so there was a secondary plan that talks about creating or investing in a closer facility here in the city of Milwaukee or around in the county of Milwaukee, if not in the city. This is the thing, man. Them having a facility for our young people is different than people who deal with our young people and who know how to deal with our young people having a facility. Anybody can open, and this is what I be talking about, the programs and people copying and duplicating programs and why it makes a difference and who's doing that. Right now, we have so many nonprofits, and this is conversation that some of even the activists was good, Rashida, so many of the activists know this, and this is why it bothers me even more that they themselves have begun to do the same shit. When you take something, a genuine idea that has the ability to impact and change something, and you see that you're not looking at it any longer as a means to change and impact lives. You're looking at it as a job, as a means of enriching yourself. That's where the problem comes in at, because what's going to happen is you're not going to do the work with a genuine purpose. You're going to listen. I grew up in group homes, and I will tell you now, there was a need for group homes. There was a need for housing, for stability, for rules in places that young people needed to go who had terrible home situations. But what was happening is I found that these people would get a lot of money for us. And there were certain things that, me being in your facility, you have to Barcree House. I don't know about Barcree House. I don't know what that is. But let me continue with my thought. These people were getting a lot of money for us to be in a facility. We were supposed to get, there's a food. They're supposed to supply food. They're supposed to supply, you get clothing allowance. All these different things that we are supposed to be entitled to for all of this money that they getting for us. And when I tell you, so many of these facilities take on so many young people, and they don't give a damn if you don't come back. They don't give a damn if you run away. They don't give a damn if you, as long as you are on their books and the state or whoever is paying owes them that money, that's all they care about. And a lot of times they get money and they're supposed to help you with clothing and all these different things. They don't help. They didn't help with anything. They skimmed and scammed as much money for themselves and did as little as they fucking could for the young people in those facilities, including myself. And I saw this happen. I saw this happen in multiple facilities. I think free driver's ed is available through some schools. Driver's ed is a factor in the stolen car epidemic. But it also, I know a lot of people say that, I know a 30-second and a half. I'm not familiar with that program. And I'm not sure who runs that program or how successful it is. Apparently it's not. So this is the other thing, right? There's the Boys and Girls Club, right? So you're talking about Bakari House, whatever that is. And I'll give you this perspective. There's the Boys and Girls Club, where a lot of young people actually go there, and it is adequate enough for them. They're, for some people it's perfect. They get somewhere to go after school, somewhere to go and play with their peers and have fun and then go home, right? But then you have a population of young people who that is not enough for them. They not only just need a space where they can do stuff young people do with their peers, but they're going to need a little bit more attention. The same thing as a classroom. And this is why classrooms are unsuccessful. Yes, the school is a facility that works for some students. It worked for me. Aside from the fact that I was a homeless teenager bouncing in and out of group homes and things of that nature, bouncing in between being a homeless, juggling a job from 9th grade to fucking 12th grade. I could just showing up to class and the regular learning experience wasn't enough for me. That I came to school with a bunch of issues. And so even though I was smart as hell, I was a 4.0 student, it was teachers that took the time out to say, man, this is a smart ass dude. His situation ain't the best. So I'm a like pour into him. You know what I'm saying? I'm a kind of, when I see him failing or when I see him slipping, I'm going to take the time out. It's very few teachers that have that or have the capacity to be able to do that, because there's so many students compared to the one teacher that's in the room. And so a lot of teachers just don't even bother with pouring into the young people who need that extra attention, who need that extra push, and And in my opinion, being a teacher, that's part of your job. That's part of what you sign up for, is to deal with people's personality, is to deal with people's, you are an extended parent, so to speak, in a school setting. And so it's just my belief that people should care about young people. If you're working with young people and you don't care about young people or their situations or their home, like, I don't understand why people go into those fields solely just to make a paycheck, or solely because they like teaching. They don't like kids, but they like lecturing to people and they like control. These are the people that they put in these facilities and in these places, and that's where the problems come in at. I cannot tell you how many group homes I went to where people hated teenagers. But you work here. Why do you work here? Why do you come here cussing us out? You stealing the food. You stealing the damn petty cash. You know what I'm saying? Like you every time there has to be an argument, you got to extra check my room and like just give me a hard ass fucking time. That's not what I need from you. You know what I'm saying? That's not gonna make me stay here. Are you trying to make me leave out this fucking door? You know what I'm saying? I've dealt with young people going through MPS who the school locked them out the fucking building. Not because they did something wrong, but because in whatever staff's opinion, when he here, he don't do nothing. So you're going to lock him out the school? You're going to not even give him or her the opportunity to do something different today. You're going to just have them be outside. This is the type of stuff that led into why I created and continue Program the Parks. And this is why Program the Parks ended up as successful as it had to be. Because so many people don't fit in these other situations. And it take a particular skill set and group of people who are conscious of the issues and the gaps and things that are not happening. And they take the time to say, I'm going to take the role and the responsibility to fill in those gaps. Our program was known as the program for people who fell into the gaps, for people who are left out, for people who don't fit in these other programs. And this is what I'm talking about when I say I have an answer. You know, one thing that historically, and especially white folks, mostly white folks, when they had troubled, problematic children, do you know where they sent them? They sent them to what they refer to as a boarding school, right? I believe we need our own space, and we need a version of a black boarding school for all the young people who get suspended all the time, who have, I actually am, Thomas, thank you. I actually am going to put that up because I'll show y'all. Currently, let me see, for the year starting, we are at a $50 balance on Cash App and PayPal, and that actually $50 just got sent to me maybe an hour ago, and a $20 balance on PayPal. So at the current time, if anybody reaches out or if there's a need or anything in the community, I'm not able to assist them. I'm going to have to come back on here and raise dollars. I don't know who proposed that, but I've been talking about that for a number of years. When I first started Program the Parks in 2016, I immediately wrote a piece to all the alder folks, and I said we need I wasn't thinking as big as a school building. I just said property. We have all this unused property. We need a property to address community issues. We need a property for all these homeless teenagers. We need a property. And, it was 3 things that I asked for properties for in each district where the problems were prevalent. That was the plan. But right now, we need a major space. We need one of these schools that is not being used. We need a school, like a school building that is not being used, and the city needs to sign over that property. The city needs to help invest and fund in this property because our young people, we have a homeless situation going on, not just with parents, but just imagine what's happening to teenagers. Because I'm going to tell y'all what happened to me. When I moved back up here at 14, 15 years old to go to high school after living with my great uncle in Greenwood, Mississippi for 10, 11 years and coming back here for high school. When I came back here, my mother did not have her own place. I had to live with her, and she was living with boyfriends, family members. So everywhere she got accepted into, she carried all whatever children she had that was with her and under her care. We all had to go there too. And what would happen is she would get into it with the people, or she don't have enough money or enough quest to whatever they situation is, whatever they worked out. So 9 times out of 10, in most cases, my mom would hit it, and then we'll still be there looking like, what the fuck supposed to do now? You know what I'm saying? And we'll end up getting kicked out at some point, or we'll end up having to leave at some point. That didn't change. Those situations still happen to our young people. And the same way I did, because I did not have anywhere to go, I roamed the streets, I roamed with my friends, and I did whatever it was that we had to do at the time, whether it was stealing cars, which some of my friends were long into stealing cars. Some of my friends were long into fighting and long into other. So I got involved in those things. Not because I went out there looking to do it, but I'm with y'all. I have wherever y'all sleep at, that I can sleep to. So we all finna do what we all do. Whatever come up, that's what we doing. You know what I'm saying? And so many of these young people are not car thieves. They ain't about this life at all. That's why they running around, just doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? They telling on each other. They are not built for this street life. They are really navigating this thing day by day, and they playing it by ear, and they don't have no people. Because I'm going to tell y'all one thing. Everybody is not going to buy into people just talking down to them. Everybody is not going to learn from people just saying, man, you bad as hell. Man, what the fuck you doing with your life? You a dumb motherfucker. Ain't nobody everybody is not going to respond well to that. And I'm going to tell y'all, when we started Program the Parks, that's exactly what people wanted us to do. The same shit that I saw somebody I respect, like you, one of my friends, but I don't respect this mode of thinking when it comes to our people. This is exactly why we started the program. Mina Ramirez had a comment, and I'm gonna say the comment because we have to address these things. She said, these kids are scavengers. Most have no positive role models, and the lazy ass mamas treat them like they are the man of the house, and once they can't help, they send them out to the streets. Well, they get trained to do dumb shit, and you can't tell them shit. They go in cars, stealing guns, then play shootout. The police don't give a fuck and get ring videos and tips all the time. These youngins have nothing to do here but be on bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why that's something. Even if partially some of this is true, right? In certain situations, some of this is true, right? This is why I would not say that shit. I had to snap on a young man during one of the first community police relation meetings we had in Sherman Park, because they propped this young man. First of all, he in his fucking 20s. I'm working with, and I immediately recognized, because one, I'm like, who is this dude talking? He don't look like no damn teenager. I ain't never seen him around here. Why is he doing a speech? You know what I'm saying? And they specifically asked him to speak. And he did this whole speech about pretty much saying anything that happened to you in your life is because of decisions you made. And all the grown people and the police and everybody got to getting up clapping and, woo-hoo, you say it, boy, and all this dumbass shit. And I was so pissed off because I knew this was some setup shit. I said, how old are you? Oh, you in your 20s. Do you live around here? Because you dress nice. Got a nice little Letterman jacket on, motherfucker, while you in here preaching. I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up. I didn't say it like this. I didn't say it this forcefully. I actually was so, I could promise y'all I had tears. I had to fight back because I wanted to punch this dude in his shit and everybody who clapped for him. Because how dare you fucking tell these little ass kids that the fact that their mother or father are working 2 or 3 jobs, busting their ass somewhere, don't have time to make sure they do their schoolwork or to make sure they ain't running around like they at work. You know what I'm saying? Or they don't have a job and they struggling. They dealing with drugs, alcoholism. How dare you tell that kid that's their fucking fault? How dare you tell a fucking child it's their fault they lights ain't on, or that they don't have heat in their fucking house, or they ain't got food in their house? How is that the child's fault? I was so mad, dude. Like, how dare you come in here and tell these kids everything that happened to you bad is your fault? It wasn't my fucking fault, the situation I was put into when I was born, that I had to be given away to a family member to raise me. Like, I had nothing to do with any of them decisions. Nothing to do with that. So how dare y'all ask this fucking grown-ass man, because he's a man, he's in his 20s, to come in here and do a goddamn speech and tell these kids, fuck you, don't complain, everything that happened to you is your fault. That's some bullshit to tell people. No, everything ain't the man. No, every situation ain't the system holding people back. But you don't... I'm not in the business of blaming victims. I'm not in the business of that. Yes, some people, it would take that. Some people have to learn you a fucked up individual, and some of this, you got to take responsibility. But if that's not everybody, again, man, you cannot use the same recipe for everybody. You cannot do it. And this is why Program the Parks was successful and Activate the Parks wasn't. This is why. The approach is different. You can't come to a park partnered with the police and have the police just standing around like, what y'all doing? I'm gonna lock you up. Like, that's not going to get these young people to do what they need to be doing. There's a blueprint, and everybody can't copy the blueprint. They're copying it, but they're not copying it because it don't look the same. Because I came from this shit and I understand it. Thank you, Jamila. And everybody else. Like, and everybody don't have to agree with me. But again, every bit of the work that I do is from experience. I know what the fuck it takes because I've been through these situations. I've been abused. I've been homeless. I've been a criminal. You know what I'm saying? Not by choice. You know what I'm saying? I had to feed and clothe myself and get myself through fucking high school. I had to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not easy. It's not easy to go from a decent life, going to private Catholic schools for 10 years, from 4 to 14, you know what I'm saying? Not having to worry about what I'm going to eat if the light's going to be on. I had to worry about abuse. You know what I'm saying? I had to worry about somebody fucking me up at home. But other than that, I didn't really have to worry about shit else. To go from a life like that, where I had a somewhat of, you know what I'm saying? And the abuse was fucked up. The abuse was fucked up. But compared to what my life was like coming to Milwaukee, where I had to worry about every fucking thing, on top of that, having to worry about the goddamn police at my ass, having to worry about, you know what I'm saying, whether I'm going to get killed because motherfuckers ain't got shit and we all walking around mad, I would have took that life that I had. So this is why my perspective is the way that it is, because I've been on more than one side of the coin. You know what I'm saying? And our city needs to understand what you're doing. You think that's going to work because you only have so much of an insight, and you're only thinking of people in a space where that will work for. You're not thinking about the people this is not going to fit. Those are the people you need to be worried about. Those are the people you need to be worried about. And it's unfortunate that we continue, and this is why I have pushed all of this time for community involvement, community input. We need to be a part of our own change. We don't need no motherfucker in no suit and tie with no college degrees, you know what I'm saying, who lived on 30-something and 30-something and something else. So that's they like ties to, like, I'm from the hood too. No. Because I know some people who lived on some of the worst blocks and they ass didn't come outside. They looked out the blinds. So they can use that. I'm off so-and-so, so-and-so. But no, you ain't, really. You from in the house is where you from. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about a village concept, this is the thing about the village. And this is why I didn't ask the question, where your parents at? We never asked that question. Because you know what? When your parents start to see a change in you, they're going to come anyway. They gonna like, what is this program you keep talking about? Who are these people that's taking y'all here or there and doing all this different, like, who are these people you always talk about? Because now I feel some kind of way as a parent that you always talking about this motherfucker. You always want to go to this damn, but what is at this park? They're going to come. And when the parents do come, we're going to figure out what's going on with them too. And we're going to start to help them too. That's why I went from Program the Parks to MKE Single Parents Club and the People's Public Pantry, because we started to get a full view of what the kid need while they out here with the child need, and then what the household needs. And we started to address all those different things. From all this Cash App like that, this is where it started. This is where all these people got their blueprint from. And they are misusing it and abusing it. This is why I can't just be any and everybody. I'm going to tell y'all, like, we had to literally, this is why I have a case right now, because we had to move the police around. We had to make the police in Sherman Park say, listen, all this hopping out of cars, chasing kids with cars, pulling out your taser because they threw a can on the ground, or they looked at you crazy, or they said fuck 12 and you don't like it. All that shit's finna fucking stop. Okay? We got this. We got this. And at a certain point, they started to see, okay, shit, I ain't got to get out my car. Shit, y'all handle it then. You can handle it, right? They started to be spiteful. So we ain't going to show up. Y'all got it, right? So when they get to shooting or fighting, you know what I'm saying? Y'all said y'all can handle it. So watch this. And then they was still waiting like, damn, them motherfuckers ain't called us yet. Damn. Okay, let me drive up here and see what's going on. Them motherfuckers having fun. Everything is fine. Okay. Now, how do you get a park, a whole park, and then a general area to go from? The sheriff's telling us they got so many calls a day that they couldn't even respond to other parks, to where you had up to 8 squads stationed in the park daily. And motherfuckers was getting fucked up with the police there. Nobody wanted to set foot in that park. Now you can't pay people not to step foot in that damn park because it's safe and they have the ability to do it. Why do they have the ability to do it? Because of fucking us. And you cannot change the history of that. I'm trying, and it don't have to be, again, I'm not a person that is a bragger. I'm not saying that I have all the answers, that I'm the answer to everything in the city. I just know what works, what has worked, and I want to have it done, because even back then what we were able to do, like, it's still like now. I can't tell you like how we were able to do so much of the shit we were able to do with no contracts, no grants, no support. We had people literally, what's up, Gab? We had people who were literally going around blackballing us, telling people don't fuck with them, don't work with them, don't give them no money. Like, we literally actively had people doing that. And we were still able to change an entire area just from social media and building a trust and rapport. The videos are still there, the good and the bad. We showed where it was 300 motherfuckers fighting and where it was 300 motherfuckers out there having a good ass time, getting along, having food, having water. You know what it is to be in the summer and have young people in a park. And I'm talking about, you may have a 14-year-old who is literally caring for a 8-year-old, maybe a 4-year-old sibling, and they are in a park in the summer with no access to a bathroom, with no food and no water, sometimes for 10, 16, 18 hours. Do you know what is going to happen when you have hundreds of children who are doing that? Guess what they're going to do? Oh, if I ain't ate today, I ain't had no clean, unleaded water. Do you know what's going to happen? Oh, yes, it's going to be some fights. There's going to be some fights and every goddamn thing else around here. And what's crazy is there's food around. There's people with water around. There's people with money around. Why are y'all sitting here letting all these fucking kids just sit here and nobody, like, everybody's scared. Nobody want to say nothing. Nobody want to do nothing. It was so simple to address what they didn't have and to change the behaviors by giving them what they needed. By giving them what they needed. Of course they knew, and they had no interest in doing it. They had no interest in that. That was the worst part, dude. Why did we have to start a Boys and Girls Club outside of a Boys and Girls Club? Is nobody going to ask that question? Why, if this building houses food, and this is supposed to be a food site for the entire community, why do we have to raise money and raise food to do free cookouts every day outside of the building, right outside of the doors? Why do we have to do that? I'm going to tell y'all this. Ain't no parent, like, it wasn't my mama's fault that I stole cars. That was not her fault. Listen, I used to show up to the house in cars to I bought this. This is mine. I bought this. Look, mama, look at my new car. I bought it. Stole it like a mom. Robbery car like a mom. Sean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but this is why I'm talking about this situation. The way that people think about their property, man, Brittany, man, they don't even know. That was some of the saddest shit. Some of the, I don't know who's laughing at this live, unless you're laughing at like the joking parts. But when I find out who this is, I'm gonna block the entire fuck out of your ass, because there is nothing funny about this. Except for the parts where I'm like specifically joking, there's nothing funny about this. There's nothing funny about Sean Jones saying that he lost a little cousin recently. There's nothing funny about hungry ass fucking bed bug bit up ass, no washer or dryer, same clothes for 3-4 weeks, wearing kids walking around this city, and grown people with $50,000, $400,000 budgets and won't fucking feed them. Refuse to. There is nothing funny about that. Because you know what also isn't funny? When that same fucking kid, because you don't see me sitting here dirty and hungry. You ain't see me sit here for 16 hours with no food or water. Oh, so you ain't finna see me steal your shit. You ain't finna see me bust you upside your damn head either. Yeah, none of that is funny to me. And like I said, if I'd have known that stepping into that, starting that program, changing the area, and being a voice and a resource to the city, the children and families of the city of Milwaukee, would have landed me in federal court, would have, done all these negative things that came of it, would have people stealing and duplicating my program and getting paid for it. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars duplicating my shit with no intent for even doing this shit for real. But I still would do it over. I still would do it over, because what saved my life, I'm so glad that nobody shot and killed my ass for taking they shit. Because I didn't it's not even something that I wanted to do. It's not something I enjoy doing. It's not something that I grew up wanting to do. Who the fuck grow up want to be a car thief? Who want to grow up and just go to jail? Nobody does. This shit just become normal. It becomes normal. The same way where you can get stung by a fucking bee or a bit by a mosquito. That's like how we think of jail and getting shot. Like this, it's the same fucking possibility. And I mean, it's normal. It's normal to me. That's what I was refraining from even continuing that conversation, because I do know that young lady lost a brother, and that there was some news and some hoopla around a story being done about the loss of her brother, and now it's her. Like I said, man, it's not funny to me at all. I want to see progress in the city. I want to see our young people make it, and it really bothers me. And it don't have to be me. Any person that I've had this conversation with, for people who don't know me, I am the least hating motherfucker it is in this city. I'm the least person you can call a hater, because anytime I present something, it's not just for myself or my organization or my people. I'm thinking about somebody who's been doing this work, somebody who is an expert, somebody who's even more better equipped than I am. How can we include them? Listen, if this ain't my field, I ain't trying to lead it. I'm trying to come in and do what I know how to do. So I'm going to say this again. We need a space for our young people. When I talk about a space, I'm talking about a literal space. We need to address the homelessness situation. We need to address the poverty situation. We need to address the extracurricular activity and the education of our young people. And we did this. We did this for an entire year with a small group of young people. We did this with at the 606 building, 606 West Concordia, East Concordia. No, it was West Concordia. 606 West Concordia, the ITAV, Community Empowerment and Solution Center. We had a school. We had a school where we brought young people from all over the city, predominantly Sherman Park, but from all over the city. We picked them up. We brought them to this fucking building. They got to eat. We helped them with their homework and tutoring. We had a library program. I still got all the fucking books here in my house. We had a computer lab. We had a game room. And then there was other programs that they were, privy to if they wanted to engage in that. We offered free karate and self-defense classes through Timothy Montgomery and the Lions of Judah. I mean, these are young people who were fighting every day and getting suspended from school all the time and driving and riding in stolen cars. These are young people we worked with for a length of time who stopped doing it because we gave them some other shit to do. So I need my city to buy in, and it's not just for me. It's something that needs to be done. No, our kids don't need to be in no fucking Lincoln Hills. No, they don't. If you get a kid used to detention, I'm talking about DT, a kid used to Lincoln Hills, where clearly we hear the treatment they were getting, there's no way you can be okay with that. There's no way you can be okay with that. And if you put them in the facilities while they're young, they're not going to have a problem going to an adult facility. It's just going to be, it's not just another thing. That's the thing, man. Exactly, Lexi. They are not giving our people no hope at all. That is the main problem. How political this city is. They tear the hope from you. They literally take all the hope from you. Young. They start young. And I'm telling y'all, same thing I said in 2016. Y'all don't think these young people on Facebook, you don't think they see the shit that y'all say about them? You don't think they see how the adults are running around Facebook acting and the shit y'all post and the shit y'all say? They are learning from us. You can't talk down on them and you doing the same. You know how many people that were mad about me and Frank and the whole live thing, but I go right to their page and they last post, they talking about somebody's kids. And how ugly they are, how fucked up they. How the hell you gonna tell about you embarrassed and I shouldn't be on live arguing with another grown man that I have an actual problem with, but you are on Facebook literally, seriously, and you're very serious about this, talking about someone's children in a negative, fucked up fashion. This is the type of attitude that we have running around here. I just didn't understand. So many people, this stolen car thing ain't new. We were stealing cars like a motherfucker when I was a teenager. That's what we did. We had the whole block lined up with stolen cars. But you know what's crazy to me? I'm in the whole Milwaukee, and I stopped going in the damn group. I'm in the whole Milwaukee, and I'm seeing people literally looking for boosters. You're looking for thieves to buy shit from. Theft is theft, motherfucker. If you send somebody in the goddamn store to steal merchandise for your ass to buy, you are participating in theft. So how the fuck are you looking at these young people stealing cars as if that's different? Y'all both stealing. It's theft. If theft is wrong, right? So as an adult, if I see your ass on here buying stolen shit, You kind of can't tell me not to steal shit. If I see you pulling up to another grown woman house talking about it's hammer time, oh, I remember all that. People was pulling up to people, grown people, pulling up to people's house, people block with literal hammers, talking about it's hammer time, destroying people property, getting in fights with weapons. What do you think these kids ain't seeing y'all act like this? But y'all on Facebook talking down on them though. You're not, because you grown, you just get to do whatever and nobody can say anything. Don't do as I do as I say. Okay. Okay. We got to change our attitude, period, in this city about each other. My attitude, the shit that I did in these streets and in this community changed when my attitude changed about people who look like me. You are not my fucking enemy, dude. Yeah, there is nothing, bruh. I have no reason to be mad at 99% of the people out here. They have done nothing to me. Nothing to me at all. Even if they said some bullshit about me that wasn't true, you're not my fucking enemy. I see what's wrong here. And until your attitude about people who look like you change, the condition and the situation ain't gonna change. And I wanna, exactly, Brother Sean, definitely feel, free to reach out to me if I could be of any assistance dealing with the loss of your cousin. I've said that to a number of your family members. And just because I don't say nothing publicly don't mean that I'm not privy to certain things or I don't care about certain things. Certain things, man, it's just certain things it just get more and more difficult to speak on all these different things. It's just some things it's just like, man, I ain't even got the energy to talk about that. I don't even have the energy to address or say something about it because everybody else is already saying something about it. It's in the news, it's in the media. It's a very tragic thing. And I just, like I said, man, there's so many people who not doing things for the right reason. It make you reserve yourself so you don't look just as disingenuous as these motherfuckers do. But again, we need a black boarding school a place that community leaders who deal with that element of young people and parents can offer them services, mentorship, and everything else that our respective programs offer. We need a single space where we can all pour in to these young people and their families. A place where they can have temporary or residential housings, almost like a what do they call it for like a re-entry type of housing. So if you get in trouble, right, just like they got court-ordered schools, this needs to be a place where if you get in trouble, the DA can do restorative justice, send you there. You got to complete this program, and we go from there. And there needs to have an element added, like a Job Corps type of element where they get to learn skills. They get to get trained in different job type of things. You know what I'm saying? No, it has to, listen, it's a reason why I'm saying a boarding school. I don't take that term literal. It's just the closest term that I can think of, because it needs to be a space where people send they children. Like, it's so many young people, parents who like, man, my kid, man, I don't know what to do. They acting out. They doing this. They doing that. I don't know what to do. I don't want to keep calling the police. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. We need somewhere where people can legally send their child. That's not a jail. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, one of these messed up facilities who gonna take money for them and not give a damn about what happens to them or if they, change their behavior or their life. So I almost look at it as like a minimum prison. You know what I'm saying? Like a minimum prison type of deal where you get to go out and go on passes on like a group home. You know what I'm saying? Whatever term best fits what I'm talking about is the term that we'll go with. Don't get stuck on the terms that I'm using, because again, but we need that space where they can have stable place to live, transitional housing. Orlando, she said respite center. We got transitional housing, whatever we can come up with. And like I said, I'm willing for anybody willing to help build this. If you got the capacity and you got the input, let's hop on a Zoom call and put it together. Let's put together a plan. You know what I'm saying? And present this and let the city know that we need it and we want it and it has to happen. But absolutely, Lincoln Hills need to close, and we need an actual plan in place, not 3 years from now. We need something immediately. These young people need us immediately. This stuff is going on right now. People are dying right now. It's whole schools sitting around. There's nothing that's happening with these schools. Why can't we not have these buildings? You know? So I will extend that to anybody who, you know, who would like to actually do it, who has a skill or capacity to do what happened to the building on Hampton. If you're talking about the building that Frank was dealing with, I think that building is for sale. Even if that building can be used, I really don't care. Even if it's that building, I really don't care. But again, the investment is going to have to come from somewhere, which is a monetary thing. And like I said, we got programs for days. We just need space. We need space and we need financial support. You know what I'm saying? And it has to be done. It's 2021. These are the same issues from when I first came into activism, when I first, got to having any sort of notoriety. Like, these are things that have been attempted to be addressed, and it just, they got to meet us halfway. So I'm going to hop off of that, and we're going to go to the next topic, which is, I think they just kicked my baby out of there and took him out of where? Oh, out of Lincoln Hills. Okay, Lexi, you seem to be very, very knowledgeable. We may be able to if you're interested, we may be let's have a conversation, man. Listen, I'm trying to build ComForce up. ComForce is for y'all, and just, it's not just for any and everybody. It's not just for any and everybody. It's for people who have the passion, the capacity. If you're a genuine person, not these people who try to come in and see what the fuck we doing, see who all helping us, and try to take shit for themselves and sabotage. Like, dude, man, it's really time over for all that shit. We got real things to try and do it. I cannot do it all myself, dude. I just showed y'all my Cash App. I just showed y'all my PayPal. It's fucking $70 in between the two. With the amount of people who inbox me needing help, I cannot do it. And I cannot keep coming on here, posting a Cash App, posting a PayPal, looking to be the person. You got other activists sending people to me, and these motherfuckers is raising money and going out to eat and doing all type of crazy ass shit, but you sending people to me who need help, though. You say you help people too, but I got $70. We need to build this. We really need to build this, because it's not, for me, this is not a thing for me. I would love to have somebody who can act in a capacity and utilize the platform and do what needs to be done. Do what needs to be done, man. It's a team thing. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk. You already know, Orlando. We gonna talk. Okay. The next thing is, I feel like all this stuff we've been talking about in the past year or so, this reform, all this stuff that we need, I feel like we are on a path to being duped. One, because, and I appreciate like CNN and all the different other major networks or, media that have been reaching out recently. But because we don't have that access to national media, we are not the voices that are leading these conversations. whenever Biden or any of them type of people are having conversations, I'm going to just be honest, man. Some of these organizations, not just community activists, some of these organizations going to have to fall the fuck back too, because they don't speak for us. They do not speak for us. They have not done adequate work, at least since I've been around. They have not. How the fuck are you talking for us? We are going to have, when I tell y'all this Million Activist March, that has to happen this year. We have to organize amongst each other as activists, leaders, organizers all around this nation so we can all start saying the same shit. Because we can't have somebody over here asking for this and saying this is what black people want, this is what black people want, and then so they gonna just pick and choose the weakest or smallest thing out of what somebody said and say, yeah, y'all said black people wanted this, right? So we gonna get this to black people everywhere. That ain't what the fuck we asked for here. We need to be all on the same page. And we can do that by organizing a rally. And it don't have to necessarily be in C, but it damn near has to be, because that's where all the rallies happen. But we need to network and build among leadership and not allow somebody else to prop somebody up and say, this is your leader, this is who speaks for you. I don't want no church talking for me if Biden come here. You what? I'm sorry, it just has to be done that way. It has to be. We cannot keep letting people divert or you pick people to be in the room that you can give them their agenda. No, this is what we gonna do for black people. No, what is gonna happen is you gonna sit your ass in that seat. I'ma hand you all this. See this paper right here? It got a lot of shit wrote on. Read it. This is what we want right here. That's how we have to control our narrative. We have to take back our voice. It's been very clear the shit we've been asking for since we started this. But it's people who are not involved in that process, people who are against, or people who were not there when we put our list of demands out, and now people like that are in rooms speaking on our behalf. I don't even know if they speaking on our, they just in the room, and shit that we asked for consistently is not on the table. How is that possible? It's possible because I ain't there. Or people who serious about this, who've been saying this shit before last year, ain't there. That has to stop and that has to end. Don't go asking no goddamn body else what we need and what we want. Yeah, and Biden and Kamala are going to have to return, especially dealing with Kenosha. They at least Biden came to Kenosha, and that conversation was limited. There were people picked to be in the room. The conversation was surrounding police reform. Even if this has, aside from the Jacob Blake situation and all of that, police reform has to happen. Police reform has to happen. The decriminalization of marijuana, talks on reparations, these things are priority on the goddamn agenda. Priority. They should be priority. They need to return to the table. They need to come back here and finish what they started. One, being with the Blake family. Two, being with the residents of Kenosha and what has happened there. But three, just in general in the state of Wisconsin, we need folks to come to the table. I will say, I've had I've had the opportunity to speak to folks like Cory Booker and what is her name, Tammy Baldwin, in different rooms. Conversations is cool, but I'm a man of action. I went to a lot of meetings in my initial years. It's really no need to meet no more. You know what I'm saying? Unless these meetings, there are things coming out of these meetings as far as action. We know what we need. We know what we want. We know what the problems are. if we're not talking about putting shit in place and in motion to address what we already know, we need to come up, no, we don't need to come up with nothing else. We don't need to talk about it again. We need to know when the action is going to start is what we need to be talking about. That's the only talk that needs to happen. Where the money, where's the property, and when we gonna get this done? Them the only three things. If they're not going to fix our city, if they're not going to progress and move our city forward, and as Milwaukee go, the state goes, because we are the golden goose for this entire state. Well, let's hope so. But, you know, of course, man, you can't put, they not even hitting them with real, you know, like, I promise you, if I was a prosecutor, motherfuckers would have every charge, sub-charge, related charge. Like, you have to have that type of approach. Listen, man, let me tell you something. I have 7 Fed charges and nobody got touched. Allegedly, nobody got touched. It's just a thought, a conversation, allegedly, and I have 7 charges. How these motherfuckers had weapons, bombs, broke windows, on camera? No, y'all need to be heavy-handed as goddamn fuck with these people. And I'm waiting to see what happens in Madison at the Capitol. I'm waiting to see. I'm telling y'all, because y'all have completely destroyed my name, credibility, program, blocked monies, all type of stuff, and nobody was injured at all. Nothing even happened. You went past the motherfuckers who actually did shit to come for me because supposedly I had a conversation or was there when some shit was being organized or thought of. You got to make this make sense to me. Oh, it's going to make some goddamn sense. Motherfucker, some sense gonna get made around this motherfucker. Okay? So, I'm just saying, yeah, I'm not one to play around about none of these people and things happening around the nation, because if you going, bruh, you fucked my entire everything up. Oh, I was going to run for alderman, and I'm pretty sure y'all knew that. Oh, I was going to go for a pardon. I'm pretty sure y'all knew that. We were in line to get $57,000 in grants between the city and the county. I'm pretty sure y'all knew that. I'm the greatest amount sure you knew that, because the following week after I was approved, Monday morning, hot and early, y'all came in with the goddamn guns and shit. So I just watched motherfuckers try to murder and kidnap, what do they call Black Lives Matter? Burn, loot, murder. I just watched that happen, and everybody got to walk away, get on planes, go home, do interviews, brag, you know what I'm saying, documentaries. Let me tell y'all something. It's a dude in a wheelchair. Y'all probably think I'm lying, and I'm going to show you that I'm not. It's a goddamn dude in a wheelchair who is one of the Proud Boys' top folks. This nigga got a YouTube channel. He was there. If they don't arrest this wheelchair motherfucker, listen, wheelchair people are apparently, watch this. Just wait. You wait right there. I'm about to send this nigga's location. I'm going to have somebody look up his location. Because dude be going, he's in a wheelchair, mind you. He be going to Trump versus Antifa and Black Lives Matter rallies all across this goddamn nation, getting into fights and all. Oh, he was in D.C. Want to know how I know? Because he's live the entire time. So police, I got somebody for you. Oh, I'm finna find it. Oh, y'all think, no, I'm not playing. Is this it? Oh, yes. His logo is a black logo with a blue wheelchair person I'm not lying to y'all. Come on, man. Okay. How do I go home? Oh, check this shit out. Check this shit out right here. Eddie Block Films. Eddie, what is this logo? It's a fucking wheelchair man with a big ass camera in front of it. This nigga has damn near 9,000 subscribers. I have 450. This dude is in a whole ass wheelchair. No, wait. Oh, no. Look. Somebody look at this. Live chat with Eddie while we wait for the plane. This nigga, hold on. That ain't it. On the Capitol. What? Bad Wi-Fi in D.C. Eddie in D.C. live. Eddie Block at the D.C. Trump rally. Oh, no.
So I can catch. The cops just stormed and took everybody off, but I'm still up here.
So, ain't no discriminating. Ain't no discriminating. He signed up for this. He the only motherfucker still on the Capitol building while everybody else is gone. He's still there. He recorded it.
I'm getting blocked.
The police, he's behind the police because he's in the chair and he can't get off the stage. Police.
Yeah, I'm the last man standing, guys.
He said he the last man standing. He's in a fucking wheelchair.
What's up, guys?
Listen, man. I'm not gonna play. I'm not playing with none of these people. This is not like. I promise you, I think we living in a simulation or something. Because this can't be y'all. Y'all thought I was playing, didn't you? This motherfucker right here, police. Oh, police. Eddie Block Films would have some information for you that I think you would find funny as hell. So, I'm just saying, I have no idea how the fuck he got up there in a goddamn scooter. He can't get up. He can't walk. He has a chair. Like, not just a person who has a chair for no reason. He has a chair. He has to sit there. How he got up there and can't get down, I don't fucking know. But when I tell you, go look at his lives. Go look at his lives. He be fighting and everything. Literally, this dude be fighting people in a chair at Trump at Proud Boy rallies. He's a Proud Boy. He's one of their main ones. Okay, I didn't mean to mess up this live with a serious conversation with that, but I just goes to show you that they would allow this stuff to happen, but they come at people like me. You know, somebody who spend every, time of his life, trying to better things. These motherfuckers can run around doing all type of bullshit, freely. And I don't like that. I don't like that. So, we gonna talk about this some more. I'm gonna go back. Yes, he pulls up literally. Please, don't subscribe, but go watch his videos. Please go watch his videos. Most of them like 3-4 hours long. He must got the same phone Frank got or some shit. I don't goddamn know. He be live for long periods of time. But yeah, it's not. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. So these are just thoughts and things that I think we should do. And if people want to help, support. And I still never put the Cash App or the PayPal up, but they are in the comments if you would like to donate or support. Like I said, man, I had a hell of a year last year. He got a generator. He got something. That motherfucker is gas powered because he go live a lot. And he be at all the rallies. Let me exit off of this because it just disturbs me to even know that this is real. This is like really happening somewhere on earth while I'm sitting here. All right. So much love, y'all. Appreciate y'all watching this. We definitely got some conversations left to have. We got some laws and policies to change. I'm gonna tell y'all now, next week. Oh, that's the last thing. Next week, around Tuesday, I need people to be prepared to move on action dealing with Madison and the legislation that will be starting to circulate. I'll, connect with Senator Taylor and some other folks, at the Senate position and our state reps about what's going on and they insight on what's being passed, what the possibilities are. You already know, Orlando. I repeat my position on the new contracts person at the city that they approved unanimously. I don't know her. I don't have an issue with her. But the police contracts are a huge issue. And I am looking to see, one, why the conversation is so silent when it comes to the police contracts and what she's going to do as far as pushing for changes in the police contracts. That's my concern with her. I don't know, whatever other contracts that she may work on that we should be looking at. I'm very specifically looking to see if she will push the envelope on the police contracts. Maybe let's find a spot where we can socially distance and meet in person. And we definitely can meet next week, in person, and other folks who don't want to, maybe we can have a Zoom set up. But I'm very serious about this. And I will tell you this, go look up ComForce, look up the Community Task Force MKE page, and you will see most of the time in January, February, or December, I have thrown numerous town halls on these same issues, whether it be the rise in violence against women and children, DV, the reckless driving, or police issues. I always throw town halls and lead conversations in a lot of these issues because I present a lot of solutions and answers. We have a program for damn near everything you can think of, and they are successful. It's just we are limited in what we can do. And I know people be mad because I can't always help people because I don't have the means. And this is why I'm going to continue to talk about this. Because other groups don't run, they help like we do. We are not as restricting and, you got to have this, you got to prove that. So we are a easier, accessible program. Gap, honestly, and I'm gonna call them. I'm going to need to find some folks who will help us fundraise for this year, because I promise you, I would like to not, and I haven't been. For people who notice when I go live, you can go back and check on my lives. A lot of my lives, I do not put my Cash App or PayPal up, because again, man, so many people who support me support other folks, and when you have other folks that's constantly asking for money or constantly throwing theirs up, I'm not comfortable asking the same people or people who ain't got it like that to split support or to continuously give to everything, because it's just not a plausible, feasible, sustainable thing to do. And we have to try to look towards other avenues, which is why, again, one of my focuses has been music. But I mean, we'll figure it out, man. It's the beginning of the year. We 2 weeks in. And I hope to have something, really serious in place, by February. We're going to Black History Month, geared and ready to go, and with some viable options, in play. Because, March is my birthday month. March 1st, I will be 34 years old. And again, man, the bar is set. I had a huge year last year. Conforce had a huge year last year, and the bar is set, man. You know, peace. Oops. Yeah, man. I do more listening than I do talking, and I absolutely do more action than I do talking. That's just part of, who I am consciously. I have to be very conscious that I keep that balance, and the balance is usually going to be 60-40 or 70-30 when it comes to those things. I don't know what's wrong with my eyes, but they are itching. Something vicious. I probably got something on my hand. But let me get off of here, man. Much love, man. I appreciate y'all watching. I'm gonna go back through the comments, and we're gonna set up maybe a chat, and have some more conversation. Matter of fact, man, I'll let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? I'll let y'all know. But much love, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching and viewing. Make sure you share this with somebody, tag somebody. And again, the links are in the comments if you would like to go back through them and figure out how you can support. Man, much love, man. Thank you all. Orlando, see if you can come on, request to join. Because maybe, hopefully, this works on my iPad. Because it definitely don't work on my. I'm gonna try to invite you myself. Well, it don't have an invite button. Oh, yes, it do. Let me see if this works. I think it might work on his iPad. Yo.
What's going on, bro?
Okay, so now I figured out how to get people on my live. I'm gonna have to use my iPad because apparently it don't work on none of my phones.
I just hit the little button that says send request or something, or I don't know.
Yeah. So I just want to bring you on here because I know we've been having some conversation on a number of things. One, just recently you brought the idea to me about pressing for to get support for felons' guns rights to be returned
Yep.
in a limited and viable capacity. But just touch on some of the things that you just heard me cover and your thoughts on some of those things too as well.
Well, I mean, I've ran last year and I, didn't get the result I wanted. But one of the things I did talk about was the need to close down Lincoln Hills. That both Republicans and Democrats agreed to close down Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake, and to find a facility closer to Milwaukee. And unfortunately, our local politicians here in Milwaukee could not decide on where. Wasn't even deciding. You had local aldermen, black aldermen, and local black officials who didn't want Lincoln Hills or facility to be relocated in their backyards. That's, in my opinion, that's a sign that reeks of the oppressor. When you say, "Well, I don't want them kids or them adults in my area," then where are they gonna go? Then we can't get mad if Eagle said they can build a facility there, or Toma, or whatever. These are, primarily African American young men and women. And when we can say, "I don't want them all off of Tatonia, I don't want them over here," I'm like, first of all, this is all our communities in the city, and these are our kinfolk. How we don't want our own kinfolk? If we're gonna help rehabilitate, and it kind of speaks to your point about the whole idea of your educational facility, transitional home facility. That's the same money that can be adjudicated toward into a facility. So it kind of right there on line with you. Even your idea of the incorporating maybe some of those Job Corps concepts. It's right there in line, and the money's already there. We just can't even agree as people of color, black folk. I ain't gonna say people of color, black people in particular. We can't decide to build a facility right here in Milwaukee ourselves for our own kinfolk. That's a concern.
Yeah.
So I definitely.
You know what? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought about it. I wonder if maybe I should give Campbell a call because I think they should still have the space on 6th and Concordia. Maybe that could be a smaller model of a building because it's not a huge school, but it's a school with at least 3 levels of classrooms, 2 or 3 levels of classrooms,
Well, I
and a
guess
basement.
the Lincoln Hill situation is that these are different types of facilities, and one of the facilities they was also going to have was a county location. I think they agreed on that one. I'm not certain, but I think your overall idea of having these, if they're going to be adjudicated youths, you know, for a variety of different issues, why can't we find a way to make it happen in our own backyard? And that's the part that's disheartening, right? When we, you know, we talk about these things and we can't even agree as a community. Like, but then we mad because we driving people 3 hours away to see their kinfolk, and then the facility itself don't have the classrooms and the teachings that we want to see. But when we have an opportunity to do it, man, if you remember, it was a big hullabaloo over this whole thing. They had meetings and town halls, and everybody and their mama came out and said, "Don't put it by me." I'm like, well, wait a minute. We want to close down Lincoln Hills, but then we say we're gonna put it over here off of Mill Road or off of Titonia. Everybody went up in arms then, like, oh, don't do it over there. Like, what? It's crazy, man. So definitely that point was one in which I wrote down. It's like, yeah, we talked about this, and again, a legislative cycle is about to come to an end. One's getting ready to get started, and Lincoln Hills is still open. Copper Lake is still open. So all that talking, all that agreement, and we still didn't get it done, and that's terrible. You know, your point about the young lady who got hired for who to do the negotiating for the city contracts. So many people are missing like the point in which we kind of talked about this thing, and automatically people went into like qualifications, and she's, you know, she got the skill set. That was never the question about skill set. The question is, how do we have police reform even in contractual things, right? One of the issues we talked about was qualified immunity. How do we make this a part of the actual police contract, that if we're going to hire new police officers, qualified immunity, which protects them from being sued civilly, has to be something that the new hires have to agree to. I thought it was a good idea that we can make it a much smaller, lighter lift to get done. And everybody went to, well, she's qualified and she got approved by the Common Council. I'm like, but and they touted in that article about her relationship with Ask Me, which I don't, you know, have a problem with unions like that. That's cool, but the one I'm more concerned about is like, what about this union contract? And that didn't come up in the article. And the people who hit that tag I put out there was all about her qualifications and she cute. I was like, I don't care about none of the qualifications, man, or how she looks. She's like a booger wolf to me. I don't care about that. The question is, what are we negotiating? Where are the negotiations? And what's in the contract?
I've been pretty silent about that.
And I think you're hitting it on the head by your action meeting next week with the legislators. So I would love to be part of that conversation, because I definitely want to report back to the community what I've heard of some of the conversations from that task force that I do sit on, because those things are, you know, all those pieces that need to come out together. So, but no, I think your awareness, man, is one thing I really believe sets you apart. Which no shade on nobody, but that's you being like kind of, you know, directing the action, not only the protesting in the marches, but also what do we do with that energy, right? Like, because the thing that, you know, you just hit me so often about is like accountability. No one is saying that we can't have police officers, but we need to have officers that are good officers and everybody be accountable. You also, and so many people who don't catch it either, like, you hold the community accountable too. Like when something's filed, you call Catholic, like, that's filed that a 13-year-old got killed. That was filed, and you say it. And that piece, I think, so often folk don't hear. Well, folk who don't want to hear don't hear.
Right, they don't pay attention to those parts.
Right, you call out anything that's foul. You call it out like, man, that's wrong too, because that's the part of being a hypocrite that people don't get. You can't call out one without the other. So you're clear on those things. But I think also we just had a county surplus. Nothing against DC Crowley. You know, I voted for the dude. But when you had a surplus, DC, like, what you doing with that money? You know, from the county level, like, what we going to do with that extra money that you got? And some of these things you're talking about, the county can have some you know, a 24-hour facility. That was part of some of the count. One of the facilities going to be.
I'm sorry. This is one of the conversations that I've been having, too, for the past couple years at least. And, you know, shout out to Jeff Roman. He's over at OA now, Office of African American Affairs. But even when Nicole Brookshire was there, you know, these different levels of government need to work more collaboratively with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like the county should be working more closely with the city, and they should be both working more closely with the state to get things done. I don't think it, like people talk about the community being siloed. Government is siloed too in a lot of aspects.
You're right.
Like it should be a lot of conversation to figure out if the county has surplus money, what is it that the city and the state can agree on that maybe we should do with community input and leadership to say, well, what should we do with this, or what could we do with this? What's possible? And we figure that out together. You know what I'm saying?
I
To
think you
where
hit me. I think you're so right.
it just has to happen. It's that time where stuff like that just has to happen.
We talked about, you know, the issue of the lead laterals, right? And how MMSD, that's another taxable authority in the city of Milwaukee that we as taxpayers pay for. They control the lead laterals, the sewage, right? They have everybody's budget should be on the table of what you're doing with the money, where's it going, how effective is it, and who's getting it. And so if we're going to talk about the lead lateral, if the city gave up, you know, 10 million, the county gave up 10 million, MMSD gave up 10 million, NPS gave up 10 million, and the state of Wisconsin gave up 10 million. Now we're working about $60 million. You know, so that's when this is how government should work for the people. It should work for the people. And then it should make sense to us. If you got surpluses and you all have been, you know, this is one part sometimes Republicans talk about like duplications, right? In the state of Wisconsin, man, we have about 50 different like job programs that's funded through the state. When we can if we can consolidate some of those efforts in one department, use some of that extra money to say maybe fund things like body cams for MPD. You know, instead of asking for more money, we can just really be a better user of the money we already asked taxpayers to give. So things like that, man, is kind of what I think I bring to the table. But I think your live is on point, bro. You're staying conscious about and keeping your eye on the ball. And I get it. You one dude, and you have some great volunteers around you, and you try to stay abreast of all the you know different moving parts. And it's hard because it's so many levels of government, so many issues we need to be working on. But again, you know, I posted a thing about I ain't got nothing with my brown brothers and sisters, you know, coming from out of the, you know, this new president elect. But I'm not gonna sit back and not let the black community agenda not be one that we should be focused on, you know, Republican or Democrat. Like, hold on, man. And nothing against nobody, but I'm just pro-black. Don't mean I'm anti-nobody, but I'm just pro-black. And so this is one of those things. But no, bro, you hitting it with the information of like what we do next. You know, how did we make this movement turn into an action into legislation to policy? Even the conversations about this new, you know, I don't know what happened with Ann Wilson over at the, you know, Fire and Police Commission. I don't know if she's going to be there or not, but we know there's some things swaying now as far as who's going to be the new police chief. So somebody put a chat at my pro-Trump. I'm pro-black. Whoever I can work with anybody. Let people hear when I say this. I will work with anybody who's going to work with the black community, be it Joe Biden, Trump, Lena Taylor, Dale Kawinga. It don't matter to me. Only thing that matters to me is are my people getting the things we need. So that's what my biggest thing is. Now, do I lean a certain way? I don't care, but do I want to do about the work? That if it's a good idea for our people, I'm gonna rock with that table with anybody about that issue. There's no permanent friends. There's no permanent enemies. Only permanent interests.
Yeah, you know, we like you said, you very clear that we don't
always
agree on everything and haven't. Hey,
fine.
honestly, shoot, we used to be at each other head 24/7 whenever we did come across each other. So we, you know, and it's in the same for, you know, certain police folks, and I'm very open about that. Like I've suggested people, you know, back before Morales to be chief that I never had no decent relationship with them, but it was certain aspects about them that I knew that they were one open to access, if not for me, for other people like me who, even if it ain't me, I know if this person go in the room, they gonna hold them accountable and they'll sit down with them. You know what I'm saying? On some accountability stuff. So I make my decisions based off of, you know, a plethora of different things, but it's with the insight of building towards something progressive. You know what I'm saying? So,
brother, you are definitely navigating how, and I'm not here to give nobody no data boy. I just understand, and I can support your moves on how you are trying to connect the dots. And some, some people play different roles, and you definitely kind of stringing all these things together. Even the police, the movement that we're doing, we're trying to give felons their gun rights back, at least for nonviolent felons. We're going to start a national petition locally first, and try to build on that momentum. Get these things brought up, that we want to see felons who are we can come up with all the criteria, but as an American, I look at the things that are important to my people in particular, of how do we make our communities, and I think you had brought up the idea of gun locks and gun safety, how this would also cut down some of those things. So,
Yeah, I'm all for, if people, because I've seen people who don't have felonies who are not very educated or informed when it comes to gun safety, maintaining a weapon, what the law is surrounding using a weapon in certain situations. I think everybody should have, and with the conversation being specifically on felons, it would behoove that population of people to be more up on laws and educated in those processes than people, who don't have those F's on their report card, to be caught up in certain situations. It's just gonna, help them across the board to implement those things mandatorily um, in the pathway of getting them they full rights back. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep that stuff in mind, because, like I said, even before my activism, when I was going back and forth to jail, I was a jailhouse lawyer damn near. I had to help people on their cases, how to write motions, like what's going on with your case, what your lawyer doing wrong. I help people get out of jail in that aspect. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of cases, so I know that our people have a lack for how to maneuver legally, through a lot of situations. You know what I'm saying? What their rights are, what their abilities, are as individuals in certain situations anyway. So like I said, man, I just have to think in a different lens because of my past history and experience. So
well, even look at
it's
one of the issues that we, kind of, again, we got to juggle these things, and it gets complicated sometimes. And the issue of revocations. What are the current secretaries of DOC, probation and parole, extended supervision? What are they doing about policy changes? We are a year and a half away from the next round of elections. We have DPI superintendent is going to be elected this year in 2021, 2022. Here we go again. National elections, statewide elections. What is Josh Call doing out of the Department of Justice? What is his budget money being spent on? Are there any reforms that he's putting up, or what is he letting loose with his budget? But he's going to be out here again in 2022. Same thing, like I said, for the secretary over the Department of Corrections. What are we doing about revocations with probation and parole? That's another discussion, once again, that it fell off the radar. Because we know, if you do some of this work, the revocation is one of the biggest ways that cats find themselves back in jail again, back in, being incarcerated on not a new crime, but a policy they may have, very well could have made a mistake of. But why we got to revocate them versus try to get the help they need, or whatever the case may be. But these are the issues, again, around the idea of criminal justice reform is so big.
Yeah.
From judges,
I mean,
judges coming up again.
These issues in general are just so, even like, I just cannot cover everything. You know what I'm saying? And this is why creating the task force, whether we talk about Speaker Vaughn's task force, but in particular the community task force, is to have people who will think outside on those other angles that I'm not thinking about or that I'm not covering. Somebody who has an interest in this specific thing, you know what I'm saying, that can lead that, or at least keep us up to date and what's going on in those realms, so I could also be like, okay, this is going on too. This is something that I need to stay up on or get up on. That is what this work is about. And I always say, man, people always see me like certain ones of us are the face, but certain ones of us are the face of ourselves, of our own thing. This, like the task force, it's people who are part of the community task force who nobody know they part of the community task force, but they are very vital, major people and keys. And they make their own moves, major things they're doing that people have no thought or idea that they have any association, but they do. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, man, this year is definitely looking to be a very, in my opinion, man, this is the year of action. Last year was the year of demands and asks and initiation. This year is the year for action. So
Action and
that's where
accountability.
we at. Yeah.
Action with
Yep.
accountability. And we share something. My birthday is March 31st also, brother. So we're gonna party like rock stars the whole month.
The first and the last. Ain't that something?
Well,
Hey.
man, let's just continue the dialogue, man. And whenever you put up your meeting for your action, be it in person or Zoom, I love to see what some of the legislative action is going to be, and also
Okay.
what's already been happening and what we can be what should be these demands and requirements, man. Because I think one of the things that I really respect about you, brother Vaun, and some of the brothers I met and ladies are part of the movement is that I started in like politics when I first left Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a black college grad with a business degree. And I ran for office when I was like in high school, and I was in college too. I was leading some of the concerns and some of the town halls when I was at Morris Brown about what was going on our campus, our funding. We were going through presidents left and right. We lost our accreditation. So I was one of those very active brothers on the campus as far as what's going on. And when I got back to Milwaukee, it was some of the same things I saw. There was no accountability. And that's kind of what thrust me into like the political action piece was accountability. Where are the people who say they're going to do what they say they was going to do, and why you do what you do? Why you saying what you saying? And what authority do you have, and why we can't do it this way? And when you hear, well, that's just how things are, and this is the way things always been, that don't fly for me. I saw 20 some years ago when I graduated, from Morris Brown, but I've always been a very active person in our community. My grandma had a block club, we planned, do stuff with the church, but I've always been that person, like, what's fair to people and how to help folk. And so that's one thing I really respect about what you do, how you do. Like you said, we don't always agree, and that's cool. We can all, everybody, but don't mean we still can't be team. And the thing that I support what you do is that's that level of transparency and accountability, that you do what you say you're going to do, but also being able to think outside the box and creativity. How do we utilize combining some of these budgets, man? Stop saying you only got 5 or you only got 7, but if we combine your 7 with this 7, this 10 over here, in a minute we almost got $50 million and we can make some moves happen. So that's my big concern of thinking what I think I can bring to the table, which is that creativity and thinking outside the box.
Hey man, I'm with it and I'm about it. And I'll respond to Arthur. One reason why I won't hold, he said, I disagree. Trump is a permanent enemy. I agree on that part. And he said, I find it concerning when candidates aren't willing to say that. This is what I will say. I've seen Democrats openly and secretly conspire and go after other Democrats. I've seen that happen. So I've seen some very questionable and otherwise things happen in politics that gave me a really different perspective and outlook on politics. And so you already know how I feel about Trump. You know what I'm saying? I think it's clear from my lies, from my actions, from all of that. But I won't hold that against you, because the stuff that these conversations we're having, even with your alignment with, just so to say, Republicans, these are things that the other Republicans, for the most part, ain't part of the conversation, ain't driving these conversations, ain't really in tune with this stuff, and you are pushing for it. You know what I'm saying? It's stuff that I do align with. And the same way, whereas people in this community who I don't necessarily gel with, if it's an issue, a press conference, a vigil, you might see us standing together, because at that moment we agree that this is an issue that needs to be taken care of, and it's for the benefit of the family and the community. So whatever we got that's negative, you know what I'm saying, that it really don't have nothing to do with the space that we in right now. You know what I'm saying?
Brother, I'm gonna rock whatever will make sense to my people, my community. And I know even Republicans sometimes have a problem with that. I don't really care about that, because I understand that you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, there's a problem with the black community and black people got to figure it out. And then when black people try to figure it out, you come back and say, well, wait a minute, we're all one people. We're all one America. But then hold on, you can't have it both ways. And
Right.
I respect. Listen, even in the Bible, bro, the disciples all, when you look at Mark, Peter, John, James, they all spoke to a different population of people. They all had an overall arching story about the gospel of Jesus Christ, but they all spoke to a different population, and that's cool. I don't have a problem with somebody in the country or in the rural area doing what they doing. I don't live in the country. I live in the city, man, and I need to get my people what we deem a fit. I don't have no problem with working with no Joe Biden. We may not agree, but the areas I find agreement with, I supported some things Barack Obama did. I also supported things that Ronald Reagan did, things that Trump supported, some of the black school initiatives. So once again, there's no permanent friends for me. Only my people is the permanent things that stays true over and for me. Now, we may not always agree on what the action should be, but if I can see some positivity in it, I'll probably be at your rally. I'll probably be at your table. Yeah, I've been at protests. I've been at rallies because the very first thing that happened this summer, and cats don't even know about, that Vaun Mayes gave me a platform to speak right there on, was that 27 the center? Right there to kick off the whole thing. And Brother Khalil came up and it turned from a rally to a march. At the very first thing to kick off this summer, Vaun said, Orlando, you can come speak. And not only just come, but this brother let me speak. And we don't always agree, like he said, over and over again on every issue, but on that issue, we agreed on. And he said, you can come speak.
Yeah.
And people don't know that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, and even the newly elected city attorney, Tierman Spencer, showed up and he spoke as well. You know what I'm saying? I don't it's a time and a place for everything, and everything ain't about me and I believe that we all need to throw our hands in where necessary. And my guy Jay said, if we're not talking, preparing the next generation for a conversation relating to Constitution on state, federal level, that actually is the conversation. It may not sound like it on here, but if you ever see us in these modes with these young people, they're watching these conversations. I got some of our teenagers, some of the TPRU, some of the young people who've been out here marching, Janiyah, you know what I'm saying? Some of the people who've been in Program the Parks, they watch our lives. They watch what we talk about. They figure out, and they're meeting, you know what I'm saying, who these different people are. They are being exposed to a level of politics and a level of what's going on in their life. What, who these key players are, how they control their life, how they impact their life. These are conversations and things they have not seen before. You know what I'm saying? And so we are doing a level of teaching them and engaging them in this stuff, but that may not always be seen. But that's absolutely what's happening.
You're definitely, this is civics class, in action. This is beyond a field trip. This is beyond a textbook. This is actually what you're studying and what you learn about history. I hold, one thing, if you do listen to Brother Vaun, one thing he's always been clear. He holds everybody accountable, and you stay around him long enough, he's gonna call your number to come to the front of the class too. That's all so it's just one of those things that everybody has to be held accountable. I have a problem with the 94 crime bill. I got a problem supporting that. I do. And I don't see no action to correct that yet. And I'm concerned about that.
Because there's nobody that's really putting Biden's, or Kamala for things she's, guilty of as well, to correct those things. They brought them up, but nobody is really holding them to that. You know what I'm saying? And again, that has to do with who's controlling the narrative in the conversation, who's having those talks with them. And are they allowing themselves to be told what they're going to do, or are they demanding, this is what we need you to do, and this is what you're going to do? Shonda is talking about MPS. So this is one of the things that, again, another, just a personal thing for me. There are some candidates, and I believe I asked some of y'all to come on the candidate forum. Well, I know you said there are some other candidates running for the governor's spot.
School board too. We got a school board race going on too in 2021.
We got all that stuff going on, and this is part of the reason why we can't just rely on those systems. Regardless of who get in those seats, those are still processes, and nobody is going to be able to fix nothing overnight. So this is one of the reasons why I'm talking about us having our own spaces to be able to do our own additional or um, extra educational pieces, having our own library system, having our own tutoring systems, homeschooling. A lot of folks should really be investing in homeschooling. I know a lot of parents don't have the capacity to do that, but there's a number of people in our community who are homeschoolers. And if we
Bro,
could do that in mass,
you have you have
there are
you have
statistically.
homeschool. My cousin homeschools, and there's a homeschool community. So you may not be the one actually doing the homeschooling, but there's community members in your just like you drop your son off at the schoolhouse, you drop him over somebody's house, and they homeschool amongst 5 or 6 people who teach in that community. You may not, you
Listen.
may still got to go to work, but instead of dropping off to school, and I see the young lady, I think it's Shauna asked a question about MPS. We got some issues to deal with MPS. Now, I break away from what my conservative always say, what school choice is the final answer. School choice is part of the answer, but you have to
Stop it.
understand MPS is the biggest school system we have, and these kids are the same kids that go to choice, that go to voucher, that go to public school. They're the same kids, come from the same families. So we need to stop trying to pit the school systems against each other and say, well, how do we help these families? I'm just a firm believer that if we don't get to the families, it's tough to get to the kids. But I do believe in your concept of if we can get the kids, the families will, believe it or not, Vaun, there was a church philosophy back in the day. When the evangelists come pick up the kids for church, we would hope that if the kids went to church every Sunday or every Wednesday night, that the parents also would say, what's this church thing and this preaching you talk about? And they would come
Yeah.
and hear the word of God. But no, the concept is still the same, that, we got to reach them. So I'm not a school choice voucher school. I'm more about results. What is the result of be a choice voucher, parochial homeschool, whatever it is, man. Find something to work for you and your family, man. And she asked why is the businesses open or why the suburban schools open? I mean, we also understand that like COVID hit Milwaukee and Black communities the hardest. I am a firm believer in local control, that if we as a collective group in Milwaukee thought it was best, I could rock with that because I get it. Black folk was hit the hardest with COVID. And so I get it. The other counties may be open up. Okay, I can't, we got to find what works for us in our community.
Yeah, and not all, like I said, all of these systems are flawed to a degree. I mean, in my opinion, NPS would do a lot better if they open themselves up to more community input and leadership. I believe that folks like Andre, Victor Barnett, and Running Rebels, even though they are already in school in NPS to a certain capacity, if they would allow these groups and organizations to come in almost as teacher aides, you know what I'm saying? If they had people come in and offer that mentorship, for those people in their classes who may go to sleep during class, who may be failing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's stuff that has worked and that will work, but they have to be willing to do that. And if they don't, again, we just need our own space to be able to do it. When we had the building on 6th and Concordia, I specifically did several lives because I know people who do homeschooling. And so I opened the space up to say, we got any mass people, we got the books, we got the computers, we got everything you need. We just need people to come teach. If you would like to run a mass, group homeschool here, come do it. And people just didn't take the opportunity to do that. And it's going to be there too. You know what I'm saying? Because statistically, a lot of young people who get homeschooled do better. They test better, all that stuff, depending on who's teaching them, of course.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In their ability and capacity. But I just, I taught myself at home. You know what I'm saying? All I needed was a computer, an encyclopedia, access to encyclopedia, dictionaries, everything I know, I taught myself. Like, this ain't stuff that I was taught in school. You know what I'm saying? But I had the opportunity to not have to worry about all the shit that other people growing up, my age from 4 to 14 had to worry about. So I had the time to invest in learning extra shit, you know what I'm saying? Versus somebody here who got to worry about everything and every aspect of their everyday life. They ain't got time to sit in no library and try to learn some shit they don't know. They worried about every fucking thing that's going on in their life. You know what I'm saying? So
you touched on another issue. Like, I didn't know, like, your background in, foster care and group home life. A lot of things can be changed in that system. Like, those kids need a lot of support, and we need to bring those providers and those companies together as well too, on how do we make, in the end, the solution is with us, man. In the end, we got way too many educated, smart people, man, that we can't figure this out. Now there's definitely a level of a murderous spirit going on, I don't have an answer. I know I played my part, which I believe I play a big role in just being a thinker and a solution guy in a lot of different aspects, but also employment. But yeah, I mean, I worked in wraparound. You know, I worked for wraparound for like 11 years, bro. I seen some good group homes, some bogus group homes that, you know, that probably should never have been open. You know, so I've seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, the answer is with us, man. It is within us, and that we got to be black first before anything else. All this political stuff, man, that goes up for the birds. Those things are only via. Keep calling me. I'm gonna have to call him back. Sorry, I'm sorry if my feed gets interrupted. I'm not that good yet with all the technologies, brother Vaun. I'll have to study what you do. But I think the answers are here, man. You know, I went to a black college for a reason, bro. I went to Whitewater for 2 years, and I finished my degree in Morris Brown for a reason. I wanted to get as much experience and exposure to as many people as possible. I learned a lot of good things from all the schools I went to. I'm part of the 220 program, and I went to public school, Milwaukee public schools. So I understand. I'm a kid of AFY football, Warning basketball, Project Respect, much love, Mike McGee. You know, so I understand like this all collaborative working together, but we also have to have a think tank that don't see like barriers or my only job is, man, you'll make your elected position or whatever you do as big or as small as you want them to be. And I think you said in one of the posts, like, this is about accountability, man. That's all it's about, accountability, man. No more passes, no more shucking and jiving, no more. We done come this far. We done gave folk our vote support in one form or another. It's time to produce, man, to move out the way, for real, for real.
And the same way, and Shonda, the same way that I'm talking about organizing folks to be in tune with these fire and police commission meetings, with these budget meetings, with what's going on in Madison, to where we go out and lobby and publicly speak for or against these different legislations and things that's supposed to be going through. We're gonna have to do the same thing as far as organizing around MPS. I got another educator that I've been working with, and I told her, create a Facebook group, get parents involved, parents who care about who got the time and energy and wherewithal to deal with going through those things, dealing with the school board and parent teacher meetings and all that stuff. Get them in a group and organize, having a team of people that you can mobilize, if necessary. Otherwise, you're gonna be out here talking to a bunch of people and trying to and be mad when only 2 or 3 people show up, because you really putting it out there to people, and you're not going to get the response back that you're looking for. But if you organize amongst the people who want to do those things, you're going to have better results, and that way you can focus those people on specific actions or specific things that's going to have to be done with MPS. You're not going to be able to just organize that willy-nilly or just ask that people be involved in it and they show up. It's just not going to work like that. But like I said, man, it's so many different issues. We'll never be able to touch all this stuff. It's really, that's why I'm trying to work smarter and not harder. You know what I'm saying? In the year, this 2021, starting 2020, this will be year 9 for me. This will be my 9th year in this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to work smarter, not harder. And so we have to figure out ways to be more efficient and effective, and how to help other people be more efficient and effective. Because I'm gonna be honest, man, it's really draining. The more stuff people bring to me, and like it's like they frustration grow because I can't help them, or I'm not as quick to jump out there on every different thing, because man, it's draining. It's draining to have to take on every fight, and to have, for people to expect that from you. Like, as soon as I'm gonna say something to him, and then it's gonna get fixed, you know what I'm saying, or get moved on. It's not, man. It's not, because I got a lot of shit to worry about. I got a lot of other, we just got to do better, man, in 2021. And
man, I appreciate
I'm looking forward to it.
And you got me. I'll watch for your post on when we're gonna meet for your action meeting next week. I'll get some information more about that we're doing for the signature drive for the felons to get their gun.
So next week ain't my meeting. It's a meeting. I'm expecting there to be some progress from the state level on some things. I was told to expect some progress or some movement to start,
okay,
that we should be prepared for. So that's what I meant about that meeting. The meeting that that I want to put together is a meeting talking about this youth space.
Okay.
And that could be done within the next week. You know what I'm saying? Or by in a week or however we come up with it.
Well,
Just for clarity.
I'll be, I'm a supporter, so I can come with whatever. I look forward to seeing what's coming from the state, especially, I want to see where there could be some areas of agreement. And my phone is about to die, so I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna listen to the rest of your live, and I see I often ask the question about socialism versus capitalism. What am I open for? I'm open for anything that help my people, man. I think so often we allow this Western European language and dialect to confuse or get in the way of things. I don't care about a conservative versus a progressive versus a liberal, socialist. Them words don't mean nothing to me, man. It don't mean nothing to me. What works, what means to me. That's what it means to me.
Right.
Whatever label you want to put on it, if that floats your boat or make you sleep at night, man, call it whatever you want to. I'm looking for solutions, man. So I'm not into that whole. I've arrived at a point in my life that all that stuff don't mean nothing. Them titles, man. I'm a progressive. I'm a conservative. Man, I don't care. I'm black in America. Does that make sense to me and my people? Does it help us? Does it help what we trying to do? You capitalist, you a social, I'm black first. So
right.
All right, bro, man. I appreciate you for pulling me in. I hope this helped you out now to say, okay, I know how to pull people in. And thanks for letting me be your first guest on your show, man.
Oh no! Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I said maybe last year that I was planning on relaunching the activist and advocacy podcast. I'm looking to possibly turn that into an official awards, but launching in its place, in the place of the podcast, the All on the Table podcast, which is going to be a lot of conversation. And really, I want to bring some people who got opposing views, and have some conversation with that crowd of people, man, and really educate some folks on some of the shit they think they know. Because I'm just starting to see a lot of people just regurgitate shit they hear because they listen to a specific side or group, and they really have no understanding about how things really are in the actual real world, or they don't hear different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I want to have some conversation with some ops. You know what I'm saying? And really like open their ears and eyes up, man, to maybe thinking about things a different kind of way.
Sign me up. I could be a recording guest coming up again every month. You do it every week or whatever, man. I'm down. Yeah. I just want to see my people to be most informed as possible. And in the end, once we're informed people, we will make the right decisions. Once we informed to know what all the angle is, and stop trying to get over my people with half truths or just only one part of the story. Give my people the whole story. We'll make our own decision on what's best, man. So sign me up. I'll be one of your recurring guests on your show, man. I love to do it. So, bro, I'm gonna jump off on my phone, dial you. Then I don't want to be rude. So I'll watch the rest of your live from my car once I get charged up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Yes, sir. So I don't know if anybody else want to hop on before I hop off of here. I just want to. So apparently, I'm gonna have to start doing live from my iPad, because for some reason my phones do not allow me to go live. You know what I'm saying? When I try to do it from my phone. So it's working on here. Let me see. What's good, bro?
What's going on, bro?
What up?
Hey, I've been watching you for like about 2-3 years now. About 2-3 years now. I'm from DC.
I can barely hear you, bro.
I said I've been watching your jump for like 2-3 years now.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm from DC though. I ain't even from Milwaukee.
Are you in DC right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now I was calling because I seen you had like some little ritual or whatever. I know you might have seen in the comments I had put Christopher Columbus discovered America.
Yeah.
So I just wanted the opportunity on the platform to kind of like explain what I mean by that.
Okay.
So Christopher Columbus discovered America. You heard somebody say that before, school or something like that?
I can barely hear. It's like a lot of static.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
I said, you heard the school? Maybe like Christopher Columbus discovered America?
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you did different that they put out to grade school kids or whatever, but textbooks all across America, it say Christopher Columbus discovered America. Elementary school, middle school, high school, that's what the textbook, right? So, trying to get
Bro, hold on real quick. I'm about to Facebook call you. Yeah, I got a Facebook call you because it was just so distorted. I don't think nobody was hearing nothing you were saying.
Alright, but you can hear me now, good?
Yeah, it's perfect now.
Alright, so basically, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so these books, so this line is in all of the texts and schools, all grade schools across America and different parts of the world actually.
Okay.
And so the thing is, this information is verified by history.com. So if you type in the word history.com and you type in Christopher Columbus discovered America, it's going to tell you, in fact, Christopher Columbus discovered America, right?
Okay.
So we know that it was people here before him, and we know that that people that was Africans here before them, in fact.
Right.
So the thing is, you gotta ask yourself, like, why is it so important that they keep reiterating Christopher Columbus discovered America even in 2021? It's still being printed right now in textbooks, right?
Okay.
So like the point, so what I came up with is that when I started looking into etymology, this word discover, the word discover means that like you the first person in the group that you with that found out about whatever the thing is that's discovered, right?
Okay.
And like if you look at copyright laws, right? And during the time of slavery, if a slave had made something, then the owner of that slave would get it because of a law that's in place right now, which is about authorship. And authorship basically means is, let's say I hire you to write something for me, and you write it, you'll be a co-contributor or whatever, but I will own it. So okay. I would be, so if you invent something and I told you to invent something, you invent it, I own that invention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you tie all that in, and what you realize is that if I'm a white person and I'm telling the world my story, then I would say Christopher Columbus discovered America. And if I'm telling this to a black person who knows that that's not true for them, then they immediately reject that information.
Okay.
And then all of the other information that you bring into that system is then put in question. So if I'm intelligent enough in the third grade to see Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but it's in all the textbooks and all these verifiable resources, CNN, history.com, so on and so forth, all these people validating it, then all of the information that's coming out from this system is invalid for me subconsciously. I no longer care about it because it don't relate to me. So if I'm in the school system, I'm learning about my rights and my laws and this, that, and the third, and the first thing they hit me with is Christopher Columbus discovered America, then everything that comes after that is no longer important to me because I feel like I'm being lied to about everything.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? Yep. And we got people that we vote for board of education. We got people that we vote for superintendents in DC. We got a chancellor and we got a board of education.
Okay.
But we got all these people, all these authorities that's in place, and we're in the time we're in now, and nobody's challenging this information in this text. So I kind of wanted to put it in your ear, kind of because you got a platform that you kind of known for this type of work.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, man. I get where you going with that, and like I said, man. That's why I was telling Queen Shonda, we have to expect these systems to be flawed and to stay flawed. I'm not telling anybody to put their complete trust, or any trust really in any of these systems. The decisions that I make, though, and my involvement in this stuff is that we do have people who do still believe in these. That's like what he was saying about how some of our people reject having our own people in close proximity to them. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to no, I'm talking about our people from our community who don't want our prisons brought closer to here, or our young people who being put in prisons, they reject having them anywhere close to them. You know what I'm saying? And it's because so many people are scared or don't understand our own people that we starting to act like the people who don't fuck with us. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to take into account, like, a lot of my comrades be talking about abolishing the police system, right? But I go to town halls, bro, and 99% of the town halls I go to is middle-aged to older people, and they always want more police. They like the idea of police. They like the idea of locking people up because they old. They don't know what else to do. Their answer is protect us, send them to jail. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's going to be a huge population of that age group who are not going to not want the police around. So when I make a decision, I have to consider that it's people who want abolishment and people who gonna fight it. You know what I'm saying? So I have to kind of balance my approach to stuff. I can support both things, but I have to take a realistic approach. The school system still exists. People gonna send their kids to school. The job system gonna still exist. People gonna go to work, slave, be underpaid, all that kind of stuff. All I can do as an activist and as an advocate is to help them maneuver and have the best experience going through them systems and to help them hold them systems accountable. While on the other end, coming up with stuff that we run, we create, we control, and we fund, that's gonna be our own shit, our own answers to what they not doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing both of those things at one time, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Well, look. You could send me an email where I can send you some information about that, cause basically what you saying is pretty much what I'm saying at this point, which is basically like it's a lot of people that's still with that shit basically.
Yeah.
And it ain't really no way to. It's I ain't gonna say no way, but it's hard to really kind of get them to see that that's not the only way to exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, this whole Christopher Columbus discovered America thing is just it's more so about breaking that glass of everything's from their perspective. Cause like history, like everything that we talking about, the words we using, the programs we talking about, the organizations we talking about, all these things is sanctioned by these people. So when we start to talk about doing something different, we gotta really understand how our mindset was even at the point where we was like complying with it, and how people mindset is currently that's still in line with that.
Yeah.
So Christopher Columbus discovered America is just the understanding of a narrative is only as powerful as the people that follow that narrative. So if the whole world saying Christopher Columbus discovered America, and man, you know, if you understood what I was saying earlier, if man, you understand that that's only from the perspective of the people that come from Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Then everything is in that realm. Everything is okay. Yeah, we realistically need police. Realistically, some form of police. Maybe not what it is now, but realistically, we need people that's like, man, look, you can't rape people, you can't murder people, you can't rob people. We're gonna hold you accountable. We need people in place for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what we don't need is U.S. code that's in place that the people that we voting for know about. That they making laws that go against our constitutional rights. They violating our constitutional rights. They killing us in our homes and our cars, in our schools, our kids. They miseducating. You know what I'm saying? That's violation of the pursuit of happiness.
Yep.
And so until we can really identify that and say this is what the fuck is really going on, not what it looks like what's going on if you white or if you support white or if you anti-black or if you know what I'm saying? This was really going on. So until we could really start to put it in that context, we're not gonna move. We're not gonna move nowhere. We're gonna stay stagnant in the same position where we basically asking them, "Hey, please stop killing us."
Yeah. Well, I'll always say, if anybody ever known a bully or been bullied, you can't ask a bully nicely to stop bullying you. That's never gonna work. You know what I'm saying? And I put people in that mindset just to understand what we dealing with. Historically, we dealing with a group of people who know no major change has ever been had with them historically that has not involved bloodshed to some degree. You know what I'm saying? They don't they don't operate, and that's the problem with our people is the paradigm we live in. Everybody talk about the American dream and they buying into the American dream, but you're actually talking about assimilation. You're talking about assimilation into a paradigm and into a culture that's not yours, which is why you hear me talk about the village. In the village, one group of parents don't talk shit about the next group of parents like, oh, they ain't got this, they ain't got that. They see what they don't have and they feel that part in for them because they understand that whatever that parent don't have for that child still needs. And if that child and that family is still part of the village, so it's their duty to fill in, on behalf of the village for the betterment of the entire village, not to just look out for self. You know what I'm saying? So we have to return to our own culture and paradigm. We have to recreate that, and that's what we trying to do.
With that being said, I'm definitely gonna send that. If you could make sure you leave an email, I'm gonna definitely send you something. You just said basically that wrap it all up.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, definitely, bro. Appreciate your time.
No problem, bro. Peace. All right. My bad, y'all. I had to because it was just really muffled, and I wanted y'all to hear what he had to say. I'll take this last, unless anybody else got anything they want to chime in on. You could send a request to join the live. But yeah, I got a number of things, man, I want to get done, that I want to work on, that I want to start on, that I want to finish, all that kind of stuff in 2021. I hope y'all be around for it or participate. So absolutely, Kelsey.
What up?
What up?
We clash a lot because of the strong personalities and all that. But it's all love, man.
We don't clash at all. You be clashing.
I be clashing. I'll let you have that. But no, I just get tired of people looking like I'm trying to cause disruption when I'm not. I just want to, bring awareness to the other real issues other than just the police and focusing on the police reform. We got to hit the other issues too with the fair housing and education. It's all around the board because right now, Vaun, Barada gentrifying Milwaukee. This man got a multi-million-dollar mansion. He living better than all of our city officials, city leaders. How can y'all let this man come gentrify? But see, I just want to work with people because I have some real life insight. Like, Vaughn just C-capped me. I sued Barada. Who's been successfully able to take this man to court? I was the plaintiff. I sued this man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man, he got ties with the city. They work with him. It's really, really corrupt. Okay, you be surprised.
Listen, you ain't got to tell me. I personally have said that we need more state legislation, and it's got to do with the state too, because a lot of
Absolutely.
them politicians they're property owners, so they know that if they enforce harsher laws, that they're going to come out. They're going to be acting against their own self-interest at some point, because some of them are court wars. You know what I'm saying? We already know what's going on, and actually give weeds behind the curve on some actions that were supposed to happen, that still needs to happen. So that's not a conversation for the live.
No, not
That's
at
a
all.
live
No.
over there. You
We
know what I'm
go.
saying?
We gonna link, but man, it's a lot more than what people think. So I'm going on your lie to clear the air. Everybody, Shonda Bailey, I'm not an agitator, aggressor, or anything. I just want you guys to wake up, just like Vaughn trying to wake y'all up. Man, Milwaukee, we too big with the black and brown community for us, just the black community alone, for us to really not be making change, man. Y'all sleep. Vaughn, keep it real. You know what's going on. Look at, they've been feeding Milwaukee residents so many food stamps that they content with what's going on? How they come up with all these extra food stamps every month for the people to just, be okay? I know, understand people need food share and all that right now, but how y'all coming up with all these extra food stamp funds, giving them all this, but you can't come up with real strategies to get our kids back in school, a real plan to get our kids back in school? That bothers me. You got the clubs open, bars open. We've been protesting, so COVID and social distancing can't be the thing. Because if we can bring our kids out to a protest, and we can come out as adults in the masses to the protest, we can't use COVID-19 as an excuse to keep our kids out of the schoolhouse. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
That's a whole nother conversation for me. Just for me, that would be a conversation. One, children cannot care for themselves properly, and for something like COVID to be left to them, and teachers definitely not, because one of the things that happened when COVID first happened, my children, one of their staff members basically left home. The school had closed. This was like 2 weeks after schools closed. They sent us a letter saying that one of their staff had tested positive for COVID. Now, you had 2 weeks, and you're not even specifying if this was a janitor, a teacher, somebody who had direct contact with my child. Like, kids already have to go to one side of the walls or rooms like that. So it's gonna be hard enough to keep them with their mask on and socially distant. But if you can't come up with staff to do that, I see a problem with that. But the same way, while I'm advocating for space for the school, it's a way that it can be done. It's just you can't leave that up to everybody, because everybody ain't gonna do right. You know what I'm saying? So I think there may be a way that we can have in-person school and it's safe. But do I trust the school system and staff to do it correctly and keep my kids safe? I really don't. And I definitely am not happy about where we are right now with the virtual education at all.
At all.
So
Virtual, I'm just saying, and I'm not just pushing old kids let's go back to school. I'm saying because the virtual is not working. Our kids, we have been out since March 16th. It's almost a whole full 365 days. And for me, Vaun, to have current policy written that it don't matter if your kid actually in this virtual classroom. It don't matter if they actually learning. But if that computer gets popped open, we're gonna mark them here as present, and then we're gonna get the funding for your kid being at school, even though they're not at school or getting a quality education. That's a problem. And it's been like that when school was open, but not this heavily. We didn't have over 3,000 high schoolers just not going to school. Kids weren't just not going to school. Kids are now, they have completely just dropped out of school. We have the biggest dropout rate that we had in years. Milwaukee, Wisconsin has not ever had this much of a high school dropout rate until COVID happened. Why? Because there was no real pandemic plan in place. Vaun, hear me out. We could have did, if our schools if the state decided to perform in uniformity with the suburban schools, instead of having MPS doing its own thing, then the largest district in the state, which is MPS, would be benefiting or still be functioning like the other districts. You know what I'm saying? How is it that the largest school district in the state didn't have a pandemic plan in place? How is it? It don't make sense. But then, even then, we got this okie doke, or it's only going to be temporary. Come fall, we go reopen in phases. Well, right now, we're not under any restrictions, no mandates, no anything. So technically, our schools can reopen, but they aren't because other issues that's not for this live right now. You know what I'm saying? That's for a whole nother conversation. But the thing about it is, these other schools are opening. Their kids are playing sports. They're wearing the mask. And then when the exposure is happening there too, Vaun. It is. But what happens is they have a plan in place. If a kid gets exposed out there, and a whole unit of kids get sent home and quarantined for 14 days, those parents get called and they got to come get their kid. And then they roll out to the hybrid model. Now, the rest of the kids still get to come in school, but the kids that have to quarantine, they get to go virtually. And they're not missing out. There is no lapse or gap in, their education. Why our kids had to miss so much? We had kids last year, like say your kid was in fourth grade. They missed half of the fourth grade year. They got pushed on to fifth grade. So now they didn't even get all of their fourth grade year, so they don't know all of the fourth grade skills. So now they pushed on to fifth grade. COVID still happened. They missed out on a whole lot of fifth grade, so now they 2 years behind. And then now we almost halfway through the year already. They finna get pushed on to sixth grade. How's that okay for our kids? But the suburban kids been getting the same education. They on track. It's not fair.
It's not. It's distorted with you on here, so we can't talk
Yeah,
if
I
the
was done
um
anyway. I was done. We'll link in a message or something. But as far as that teaching or tutoring, I want to provide some services for free, like dead serious. Math is my thing. Bachelor's degrees in math. I love mathematics, and our kids struggle with that.
we can do it.
Okay, thank you, Vaughn.
No problem. My bad, y'all. I'm gonna actually call Campbell and see what they're doing with that space and if we can re-engage. And what I will do is this time around, I will see if there is any way we can get financial support to keep the space because we had it for a year, but we did not get funding like that. And the little funding that we did have, we can only give them $100 here, $200 here for a whole school building, and it just was not adequate. But I believe if we had a space to operate out of that we can do these things, we can make it COVID safe. We can engage these young people. We can impact a lot of this stuff that's going on. It just has to be done. You know what I mean? And that's, I don't know what they're doing with the space right now, but I am going to re-engage them. Now, a lot of the stuff that she was talking about is very much so. I know her and Shantia here on my live are two educators. I believe Shauna probably was a former educator. Uh, Um, but this is, we need educators who are current and who are previous educators to lead the issues in education because even though I was a student, I have children who are students. That don't make me an expert in education. You know what I'm saying? Or what the ins and outs of and the issues and all that kind of stuff. Um, and it's a lot to lead all these different fights in all these different lanes. It's just a lot. And so we definitely are going to figure out the best practices and ways to put people where they need to be to lead these conversations, and not just the conversation, the action part of it. But one of my main things is going to be to resume, and I'll put it in the comments so anybody can go on there the same way we have Program the Parks. Go back to day one of Program the Parks. Go back to day one until we ended the ITAV Community Empowerment and Solution Center and see what we were doing. Man, listen, we had a studio class where we were teaching them how to do their own music. We had all these cameras and stuff like that. We were teaching them, and we got print press machines to where they could be learning how to create their own clothing and brands and merchandise. We just needed people to come teach and lead those classes. You know what I'm saying? It's man, I really don't think y'all know how much it is to invest one time and energy, and to it's a lot. It's a whole lot, and I'm willing to do it, but I'm not willing to continue to stay in a position to where it's going to fail, or I'm going to have to kill the program again. And now we have these young people who out here running around, who are running around because of the inconsistency, not because we want to be inconsistent, but because we are not in a position to remain consistent. It's a huge difference, because if I could maintain a program and keep it the way that it needs to be, then I would do that. And you know, everybody don't have the time and the skills to invest for free 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? But we got some young people, we got some educators, we got some really dope people who are in this work and in this movement, who are willing, as you see, to do the work. We just have to create a situation where it could be done. So I don't remember all the things that she touched on that I wanted to respond to. Uh, but yeah, that was my thing about COVID and NPS. I do believe that our children, for the best learning practices, it needs to be in person. but it cannot be in the class sizes. Absolutely, it cannot be in the class sizes that were happening before COVID. And we cannot leave it up to these different teachers and staff to, one, care about their health and about the health of our children. You know, one thing they did do was vote to get rid of MPD out of the schools. That was a huge thing, but it's not the fixer of all the issues. And we already know in the suburban areas, they don't care about their health like that. I will play back, when I went to their rallies, they literally told me they didn't care if they died. They don't care. If I die, it's just meant for me to die. Like, they don't care. So that's why they send their kids to school and go protest with guns, talking about they want a haircut and they want to be able to, like, go to bars and like, they don't care. So for people who want that option and not really concerned about COVID, that's part of the reason why this is going to be a continuing revolving issue, because people are not. I really feel like if there was a total lockdown for maybe the last 3-4 months of the year last year, we could have it would have been that little time and we could have been back to business as usual at some point. But people just don't want to make the sacrifice and end up having to deal with all that. Hey, listen, we can get into all that. Of course it is, as most of the things are, but that don't make it any less real. It's a real thing, and people have died from it. That's my only concern. And me, I'm a germaphobe. Gab will tell you, listen, sickness, I don't. Germs, no. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I'm very cautious when it comes to my health. Don't really look like it. I'm fat now, but when it comes to health, get your sick, coughing ass away. Okay? So I'm a very cautious person when it comes to stuff like that. CNN asked me recently about COVID and the protests. And one thing is, I've seen really throughout the past year or so, I've seen people be very responsible when it comes to COVID, wearing a mask, not being as physical with one another, as far as a lot of handshaking, a lot of hugging, a lot of direct contact. I've seen the difference between our protests and the other side's protests. But again, do I trust that level of, caution in a space that we are not at and don't control? Not really, I don't. Yeah, we can argue about, what we believe and what we don't think is real, and what we can argue about that all day long. We do know Agenda 21, population control by food, air, air quality, all these different things. It's a real thing. So you do know, well, we ain't got to go into all that. And regardless of what you believe, people have died. I know people who have died. I know people who their family members have died. So I have to go off of that. I can't just be that dismissive and say that if you don't know what Agenda 21 is, you need to look it up. You absolutely need to look up what Agenda 21 is and how the plan was to weaponize food and other things as forms of weather control. You need to look up fluoride in the water. You need to look up what lead does in the water. Like, all these, we are being attacked on all different levels. If we can make our own water, trust me, I will be telling you to make your own damn water. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff in this world that you cannot trust right now. But it's a lot of stuff that, some things you're just going to have to believe what your eyes are seeing. And some things you're going to have to look past what you're seeing and find a deeper meaning or the deeper issue of what's really happening. And that's the best that I could tell it. Yeah. That's one reason why I will never discredit, because, and I've had, listen, we ain't got to get into all that. But things are real out here. I just would like for people to really get into a space in their mind mentally to be able to, and willing and prepared to invest time and energy into now action and fixing these issues. We talked about it. We brought awareness to it. We produced lists of demands and asks, and now it's time to make as much as that stuff happen and brought to fruition as possible. You know what I mean? Listen, man. What do you mean all deaths? It's a small percentage of people who got COVID who died from it. And it's just like any other, disease. Everybody not gonna die. Like everybody who get cancer are not gonna live for the same amount of time. Some people are gonna be like, it's gonna be fast and rapid. Some people it's gonna take a lot longer. Some people are gonna survive it. It's just what it is. We cannot. One thing we have to understand as humans, we have to understand that we don't understand and we won't understand everything. There is not very much on this earth that happens, that exists, that we're going to completely understand 100% of it. Please understand that as a human being on earth. It is very arrogant, and this is part of the problem with being human, to think that we know everything or that we're going to know everything. To think that we have to understand shit. It's just certain shit you're not going to understand. I will tell you something about myself. I see planes flying, and that bothers me. That how the fuck, I don't care, you can explain to me how the science works, how the turbines, how the fuck is this goddamn plane flying? The plane is flying right now. That still, it's beyond my understanding. Some people don't believe in gravity. Gravity ain't real. You can't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like oxygen ain't real. They just tell us it is. Like, oh man, you won't know everything. You won't understand everything. I understand that about life, and I adjust my being and my living to things I know and things I can control, and everything else earth gonna earth. Life is gonna life. You know what I'm saying? So let's focus on things that we can affect and change. It is what it is, man. So I appreciate y'all. This live long as hell. I appreciate y'all tuning in and following the conversation. And let's get together, man, and make some of this year, and let's get to it early. Much love, man. Peace. I'm wearing one of these hoodies that I just got. Life is good. They say people know who this brand is, but let them know, I'm saying? I'm rocking up the Young Life is Good joint. You know what I'm saying? So I look at COVID as like HIV. A lot of people who get HIV, AIDS, they don't necessarily die from HIV or AIDS. Like they die from other shit because it weakens your body and your immune system to a point where a fucking cold could kill you. So did you die from the cold or did you die from HIV or AIDS? Because people can say nobody really dies from HIV or AIDS, so we can be saying that ain't real. Well, yeah, it is. They didn't die. Yeah, they had a heart problem. Yeah, they had a goddamn asthma pump stuck in their lung, and that didn't kill them until they got it. So I don't know why these people got all these other ailments and don't die until they get COVID. The common sense to me would say that COVID is real. Because what are the odds that you would only die when you get the shit? You got all this other shit wrong with you, been wrong with you for 30, 40 years, and then as soon as you get this shit, you die. But you didn't die from that, though. Again, man, people can believe what they want to believe. I am a lot more conscious in my thought and cautious. I have to, believe that it don't matter if it's man-made, if goddamn, monkey mix some Elmer's glue with some alcohol pads and made it. I don't give a damn who made it. It's happening. You know what I'm saying? So, peace, much love. Thank y'all. Let's get to work, man.